from November 1968 to November 1969, I was in Vietnam. And I was in the 101st Airborne, which was a surprise to me. I hadn't gone to jump school. I went to advanced infantry training, got to Vietnam. I was standing in formation one morning, minding my own business, and the sergeant with a clipboard in front of us started calling out names. He said, the next names I call are going to go to the 101st Airborne. So I wasn't really paying attention, and I thought I heard my name. I didn't move, and he repeated my name. So I went up to the sergeant and explained, there must be some mistake, Sergeant. And he said, get in the fucking truck, kid. So much for jump training. At the time, they had changed the 101st Airborne from airborne to what they called air mobile, which meant that you rode around in helicopters from site to site. And you jumped out of the helicopters, and sometimes the helicopters were very close to the ground, and sometimes they were not very close to the ground. So I've never jumped out of an airplane, but I have been pushed out of helicopters. I did not enjoy my experience in Vietnam. I didn't much like it. Was there for a full year. I got ever so slightly wounded about 9 months in. Looked like I was shot with a Chinese communist BB gun or something, but was in the rear for a while in the hospital and getting that work done. And the rest of my time, after about 4 weeks, I got discharged from that and I went back to the base area. And I spent the rest of I had maybe 7 more weeks to go in Vietnam. And so I just spent the rest of the time avoiding going back to the field. And I would have different appointments with dentists and doctors and things. And on the days I was supposed to go to the field. I was not a good soldier. I was not a good. The one thing I like about having a Purple Heart is it's the only award you get for making a mistake. You know, the whole idea is to wound them. So my tour duty ended, and I came home. And during the time in Vietnam, some of you may have heard the story about how Chris and I met, and we were writing letters back and forth the whole year, and we really got to know each other and fell in love deeply through those letters. And so rather than going back to my parents' house immediately upon returning from Vietnam, well, you first go to California. And Chris lived in New Jersey. And when I arrived in California, there's this, it's so strange. You're in an area for a year, and everybody has a gun all the time. And you come back, and not everybody has a gun. And it looks strange. It seems strange. It's odd. And the other problem I had was with vehicles. I had been walking. Well, helicopters are fast, but you don't get a sense of that speed because you're way up in the air. It's not the same as watching a guardrail go by at 65 miles an hour. So I had a little trouble with vehicles. And we were in a bus going from the repo area where you come back from Vietnam, where they treat you very nice. They give you a steak dinner no matter what time of day you get back. They put you on a bus and you get to go to the airport and you fly to the destination. I was going to go to New York. Chris was going to meet me there. And the bus driver, everybody has their own story. Everybody wants to relate to you. And so this bus driver is trying to cheer up all the soldiers on the bus, and he's telling us how this his friend of his got killed at this corner. So you guys didn't have it so bad. All right, okay. So I fly to, I don't even know what airport I came in on. It was one of the New York airports. And Chris was there to see me, and that was just wonderful. And we were driving to her house in New Jersey, and I was kind of cringing because the car was moving. Chris does not speed, but the car was moving along on the highway. I was not used to moving that fast, and I was kind of cringing a little bit. So we stopped at a diner to get a cup of coffee. I couldn't go into the diner. I can't explain. It was just odd. It was just too many people. I felt uncomfortable. So I waited outside while she got a couple cups of coffee. And while I was out there, and somebody mentioned cliches before, and I'm sorry about this. This is a terrible cliche. A truck backfired on the highway, and I went down, hit the dirt. And that's when Chris came out And I'm dusting myself off, and I'm apologizing. So we get in the car, we get to our house, and it's just wonderful. You know, the first time I'm meeting her family, first time I'm meeting me, and I'm staying there a day. And then my family, my mother and father called, said, "Where the hell is Tony?" He's right here. So I went home. And I just wanted to say, when it comes to people, you know, people say to me sometimes, did the war change you? And I look at them, you know, high school changes you. You know, you change no matter where you are. If you're alive, you're going to be changing all the time. And I can't explain to you what it means to me when I hear a helicopter. Or when I'm in the woods. And, you know, I'm enjoying the woods. I like to be out in nature and everything, but I can't help. To this day, 49 years later, I'm in the woods, and I'm thinking about defensive positions and ambushes, and boy, I'm glad I didn't run into that configuration with somebody over there. You know, 49 years later. So we all have experiences. We all have these Madeleines that we smell, and it reminds us of something. And I just want to say, for veterans, for many of us who've had somewhat traumatic experiences, you never really come all the way home. You know, maybe a better way to say it is, you know, after I hear a helicopter. I have that experience, I have some thoughts, but then I am home. So for all of you who've had traumatic experiences, and you revisit them every so often and you can't help it, welcome home, because you're always coming home. Thank you.